computer. All right, ladies. So welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you again for coming on tonight. I am going to ask that all of you do keep your cameras on during the training, just because we're going to be playing that interactive game. Plus, I love seeing your faces and not actually talking to a blank black screen. So this is Taxes 101, 2022, just in case you're ever watching this on the replay. I do want to start off with this little disclaimer. I am not a CPA. I am not a trained accountant. I actually wasn't that really good at math growing up. I mean, I was decent, but once I got past algebra and geometry and all that, I was done. I did do statistics in college and that was okay. But I say that because everybody's tax preparation is a little different. Everybody's life circumstances are different. All right. If you are renting versus owning a home, whether you have kids or you don't have kids, you know, everybody has different elements to their own tax preparation. Okay. So I do want to throw that out there that I am very grateful that all of you are here to learn. I am very grateful that you're all here wanting to expand your knowledge about taxes, but I do want to say I am not a CPA. I never got trained in that, but my experience comes from 11 years of doing this business and paying someone to do my taxes for many, many years. And now me doing my own taxes, and I do use TurboTax software. Okay, I'm not putting it out there to plug them, but I'm just saying that is my background knowledge. So if you have any questions that are not pure romance related, my answer is going to be ask your CPA or ask your accountant, ask, you know, someone that's in the business, because they will know all the nuances and different individual tax codes for different things that I wouldn't be able to answer. Okay, but with that being said, I do want to go ahead and jump on in because I know your time is valuable and I do want to give a lot of time for open Q&A. But for those of you that weren't here earlier when I said this, or if you're watching this on the replay, I didn't say this already, you want to go ahead and get out a blank piece of paper, and you want to, on one side, write truth or T, and on the back side, you want to write F or false, because what I'm going to do is we're going to play a little game called Is It a Tax Deduction? All right. And basically I'm going to say a prompt and you're all going to hold up your paper and let me see whether you think it's true or false. Okay. And what we're going to do is we're going to have conversations following each one of these. I am recording this. So if you're like, wow, there's a lot of information, you can go back and watch the replay. I will have the replay up for you all to watch. Okay. All right. I see Jess and Veronica on. Ladies, I would love to see your beautiful faces. So make sure to turn your cameras on and get out your pieces of paper so that way you can play along too. All right. All right. So is it a tax deduction? Woo! First question. Is it a tax deduction? Number one, the products that you get in your kit or an order that you open to show other people. True or false? Is it a tax deduction? All right. Seeing a couple answers. T is open. T, is that how you're going to do your trues and false? This is your true. This is your false. Okay. All right. You all are correct. Anytime that you open a product item, it is going to be a tax deduction for you. The exception to that is that you cannot open something, okay, and then claim the exact same item that is not a consumable, meaning like a toy. You cannot claim it again on the following tax year if you are still using that item. Okay. If it is a consumable item and you run out of it and you got to pop open another bottle, yes, that new bottle is a tax deduction. So if you're partying hard and you go through 3 basic instincts in 1 year, well, holy hell, that congratulations, because that's a lot of parties to go through that much basic instinct in 1 year. But every single one of those bottles is a tax deduction. However, if you open a main attraction and you use that main attraction going into 2023, you cannot claim that main attraction on 2023's return because you already claimed it once. So give you an example. I have a door swing that is in my demo. I have had that in my demo for years. I only claimed it once. The exception to this rule, let's say if your demo toy breaks, or the dog eats it, or you lose it, or corporate comes out with a new color and you're sick and tired of having the old color and you want the new color. Technically, you're opening a new one. You're replacing the old one. So yes, boom, you can claim it again because you're claiming it on that new item that you have now opened. Okay. Does that make sense? Yes or yes? Thumbs up. Okay. All right. Is it a tax deduction? A hostess gift of a free product item. True or false? Hostess gifts of a free product item is a tax deduction. All right. Tamara says true. T, sorry, I had the chat window up in your face. You say true. What do you say, Jenny? So you don't know? Elena, what is your guess? Just take a guess. True? It is true. Any product. Now I said hostess gift, but this actually goes for any product that you give away, whether it's to a hostess, whether it is to a guest at a show. Like let's say if you have a, buy 10 items, get a 11th item for free. Okay. Or you have a $200 order, you get your toy tote for free or whatnot. Any product item that you give for free, that is a tax deduction, whether you're giving it to a hostess, a client, or a team member. So if any of you that are growing teams, let's say you do a contest. I've done contests before where I've given away free product to team members. That is a tax deduction to me. Okay. So any physical product that you give away, that is a tax deduction. Now, does that count if you give it away to your mom because your mom is too cheap to pay full price for it? Technically, yes, that is a gift. So yes, if you have a cheap family member that refuses to support your business financially, you giving them a product item is a gift. So you can claim that on your taxes as a tax deduction. Now, the key element, can you deduct the full amount? This is a tag on question, true or false. Can you write off the full amount of a bottle of coochie or a full amount of a main attraction? Correct. False. You cannot. You have to do it wholesale value. Okay. Wholesale value means what did you pay for it? Now I'm going to give you a little insider tip. Are you going to have to keep track of every single sale, every single discount that you get on all of your products and apply that to this individual item that you only paid $20 for this when you normally would have paid $30 for? No. The tax man doesn't care. Basically, in a blanket form, just claim it at whatever your discount is. So if you were at a 40% discount, guess what? You paid 40% for that. If you paid 50% for it, then you claim it at 50%. You cannot claim full retail, claim your discount. All right. You're gonna have to keep track of which ones I've gone through. All right. Is it a tax deduction? The food you eat when you hang out with your sister consultants. The food that you eat when you hang out with your sister consultants. All right, I got a couple.
Hold up. Question. Is that sister consultants in a meeting or sister consultants just chilling, having a good time, doing whatever the hell they want to do?
Oh, good question. T caught it. It is circumstantial. So T, if you and Elena just happen to meet up, have coffee, bitch about, your partners or something like that, guess what? That is not a tax deduction. All right. Hanging out with your friends, you cannot claim on your taxes. However, let's say you are hanging out at a team function, meaning we are hanging out at a restaurant together as a social get together, or we publicly said at a team training, hey, everybody, we as a team, we're going over here to Applebee's to have late night appetizers and to hang out and eat. Well, guess what? that is a continuation of that team training. Or you're hanging out with your sister partners at national training. Guess what? All that food is a write-off because you're on a business trip. So writing off food that you're eating at a restaurant is circumstantial. And the basis of that circumstance is, are you talking shop? Are you in a work environment, meaning like, are you on a business trip, or is it during a actual team function training? Or is this just you and your BFF that just happened to also be a pure romance consultant hanging out? All right. So keep that in mind. That is circumstantial. Be careful. That is one of those gray areas that people are like, tax deduction. And it's like, yes, in certain cases, but you don't want to, the rule of thumb when it comes to the taxes, never do anything in excess. Because anytime you do anything in excess, that is a red flag for the IRS, man. And you really don't want to be on their radar. Okay. All right. Is it a tax deduction? A party prep box that gives your hostess decorations, food, or other items for her and her guests. A party prep box that gives your hostess decorations, food, or other items for her and her guests. Ooh, I like this. We got a mixture here. We got some negative, some positive. That's a positive. That is actually a tax deduction because you are giving her a gift. You're giving her a gift of supplies. So a gift does not necessarily have to be a product item. You are giving her a gift of party supplies. So if you giving her decorations for her son's 6-year-old birthday party, no. But if there are decorations or food, like some of us, if someone is having a Pure Romance birthday party, we actually go to the store and buy one of those little mini cakes, and we bring the cake, and then we, put a little candle on and have all of her girlfriends sing happy birthday. Yeah, that cake is a tax deduction. All right. Because again, the circumstance is that they are decorations, they are food, they are supplies for the party that you are working. Okay. Got it. I love the tricky ones because this is where you ladies learn. Okay. All right. Is it a tax deduction? Discounts you offer on products. Discounts you offer on products. We can do a thumbs up. I actually like T's method because that's kind of like a really quick and easy. Thumbs up, thumbs down. Yes or no? What are we thinking?
I'm in the middle of playing a game, so we're in the middle of family game. So I'm trying to both tune in and do it.
All right. Well, the correct answer is yes. Every single discount you offer on a product is a tax deduction. That is actually a line item on, if you were to prepare your own taxes through TurboTax or your CPA, they will ask you, how many discounts did you give this year? All right. That does include hostess credits. Write that down if you're taking notes. Hostess credits count as discounts on her order. Okay. All right. Is it a tax deduction? Oh, go for it.
Does discounts include any, like the free items that we might ship to our friend just because they're feeling lonely and want to perk up their day?
Yes, but that would technically fall under the gift category. Okay. So when preparing taxes, your CPA or TurboTax will ask you, how many gifts did you give away? So that is an actual full product item that you gifted someone versus how many discounts did you give? Those are technically two line items. So you want to keep full product item gifts separate from discounts, but yes, they are all discount, or they're all tax deductions. Okay. Good question. All right. Is it a tax deduction? Your manicure, since your hands show off products. Oh, Pure 21. Your manicure, because your hands show off products at parties or on your online videos. Oh, I wasn't tricking you guys at all. No, it is not. Don't let other partners tell you it is. It is not. As much as we show off our nails and show off our hands, your nails are not a uniform. Okay. You can write off uniform things, but you cannot write off your nails or your mani-pedi. Does anybody happen to know the exception? Because there is an exception where I have written off a mani-pedi on my taxes. Does anybody know why? Go ahead, T.
It was a team outing or a gift to a team member?
Yes. What? It was an incentive. So because I gifted that to a team member as a gift of a, winning an incentive, I was able to write that off. Okay, because I paid for her mani-pedi. Do you guys see the difference though? See the difference between me getting a mani-pedi versus me gifting it to a team member who won an incentive? Got it? All right. Is it a tax deduction? Your subscription to Costco. Oh, you started up here, you started up there. What do you think? It is. It is if you purchase business supplies at Costco. If you have a Costco membership and the only thing you use that membership for is buying bulk food and TP for your family, then no. But at any time, at any visit, you have a receipt that you purchased some type of business supply, whether it is ink, whether it is pens, whether it is binders, paper, whatever. If you bought it at Costco, you now can write off your Costco membership because you cannot buy those business supplies without having that membership. Okay. So yes, you can if you are getting some business supplies. Now, does it have to happen every single trip? No. But as long as you have bought business supplies there at least once in the year, then if it counts. Jenny, was that a hand up question? Oh, okay. All right. Is it a tax deduction? Your P.O. box at the post office? Yes or no? All right. Jenny was a quick yes. Lena was a quick yes. T was a yes. Or no, yeah. Tamara's a no. All right. It is if, don't you love all these if and only ifs? It is a tax deduction. I have a P.O. box and I write it off for the fact that anything that I mail, that is a return address that my clients see. If my clients have to mail me back a broken toy, broken product, I have to do an RMA, a return merchandise, I have them send to the P.O. box. I highly recommend that if you are a private person like our family and you don't want every single one of your clients knowing where you actually live, then you might want to open up a P.O. box. And then that way, all mail going out, that is the address that you put on your return, and all mail coming in from your clients is going to that P.O. box versus coming to you. That was something that hubby and I decided very early on, that we didn't want our girls running to the mailbox and getting a package that had a broken toy in it from a client. So if you have a P.O. box for that, then yes. Now, let's say if you live in a very rural area and you don't even have a regular mailbox, you have to use a P.O. box to get your regular mail. You can still write it off because you had business mail coming in from there, and you're obviously using that to send out your packages. So either way, you're going to be able to write off that P.O. box. Okay. All right. Is it a tax deduction? Business cards and personalized pens. Yeah, that's an easy one. Anything that is promoting your business, anything marketing, personalized pens, whether it is business cards, magnets, all of those are all tax deductions. The main rule of thumb, ladies, anytime you purchase anything for your business, keep your receipts, print your receipts, tuck them away in a manila envelope or in a box somewhere, and then make sure you're keeping track of them. Okay. All right. Is it a tax deduction? The dress shirt and pants you purchase to wear at trainings and parties. Because you got to be a boss babe. You got to look good. All right. Got a couple of yeses. Yeses. Guess what? No, it's not. You know why? Because you could wear those dress shirts and dress pants anywhere. You could wear them to weddings. You could wear them to funerals. You could wear them to your day job. What is the one thing that you can write off that isn't a tire. Ah, I saw it. PR gear. Yeah, baby. Woo! Self-love. If it has, wait, where is it? If it has the PR heart, all right, if it has our logo on it, or yep, there you go, Elena. So if it has the PR logo on it, or it says Pure Romance on it anywhere, okay, that is what we classify as a uniform. Write that down because that is a separate line item on your tax deductions, okay? So uniform fees or deductions basically is you are having to wear something for your business. So I'll give you an example. Technically, if nurses wanted to write off their scrubs that they had to purchase for their job, you can write those off because you had to pay for those to wear them at your job. So those of you that are in the nursing, yeah, like, yeah, we know that, Dee. We already write those off. Well, now you know to write off your PR gear. However, you cannot write off dresses. You can't write off, nice shoes or dress pants because they are not marketing material. They are not labeled for business, and for the fact that you can wear those, and you probably will wear those for other functions. You can't write those off. Okay. All right. That was a good one to learn on. Oh, then my next question was PR gear. So clothes, accessories, business supplies that have the PR logo or PR Romance written on it. We all agree. Yes. Okay. All of that. So whether you're buying swag, whether you're getting, again, little notepads that have Pure Romance on it, anything that you buy from Pure Romance trainings, those are all tax write-offs because somewhere on them it's going to have the logo or Pure Romance written on it. Okay. Now, I should clarify, if it is clothing, you can label it in the uniform category in your taxes, or there is a separate tax deduction line item that says marketing expenses. So you could potentially put your PR gear in the marketing expenses and not in the uniform. The main rule of thumb, you can claim it, just don't claim it twice. You can't put it in uniform and in marketing because you got to put it in one of those. You can't claim it twice unless you have two shirts and you put one in one and one in the other. Okay. So for instance, a notepad like this, that would not fall under the uniform because you're not wearing it, but it has the PR logo on it. This would be considered a marketing expense. Okay. All right. Your new car, since you drive it to parties and trainings. Oh, go ahead, Jenny.
So if I were to buy a face mask with all the PR hearts on it, would that be considered uniform or would it be marketing? Or I could decide.
You just decide. That because you are wearing it, it would fall into either one of those categories. So pick a category and put it in there. The way I see it is whatever you choose to do, be consistent. So if you feel that you're going to put everything that's clothing in uniform and then anything that's not clothing in marketing, then that's fine. If you feel like uniform sounds weird to you and you want to put everything in marketing, then that's fine. Okay. All right. So next question, the new car you bought since you drive it to parties and trainings, is it a tax deduction? Yes, no, don't know. We'll do this if you don't know, if you truly don't know and don't want to guess. All right.
Trick question.
It's not a trick question. You cannot write off
of it.
Huh?
You can't claim the whole car, but you can claim part of the car.
You can't claim the car, you can claim mileage. Okay. So you cannot claim your new car. You cannot claim your new truck or anything like that. You can claim the mileage that you drive. So driving to training, driving to parties, driving to the bank to make your deposits. Yes, every single one of those round trip. So it's not just going there, it's also coming back home. Round trip, all of that mileage is a tax deduction. Go ahead, Tim.
What about upkeep on said vehicle? New tires, new brakes. Actually coming home from my last party, I had my windshield wiper go.
Nope. Nope.
Nope.
The only exception to that rule. Does anybody know the exception to that rule? What does D have now? I have a mobile boutique. That mobile boutique is 100% business. I never drive that for anything personal or family oriented because that is 100% a company vehicle. That is different. I would be able to write that off. I would be able to write off the maintenance on it. Okay. But your regular minivans and cars and all that, no, you cannot. Okay. All right. Is it a tax deduction? Tissue paper and gift bags. Yes, it is. It is a tax deduction because you're using that to doll up your hostess gifts or your party giveaway raffle gifts or whatnot. Some people even use really nice gift bags and tissue paper to doll up the orders that people are coming out of the ordering room with. I've actually had sister consultants I've even done in the past where if someone spent like $200 or more with me, I would put it in a really nice gift bag, put some tissue paper in, and she's walking out with it looking like a gift. And it's like, hell yeah, you're an extra VIP. So these are some things that you can think about that is really good because it creates that FOMO where she's like, hey, I want that. I want the special treatment. We'll spend $200 with me. So you spending the tissue paper and the gift bags, yes, that is a tax deduction. Okay. Now, well, let me put it this way. You buying gift bags and tissue paper to, again, wrap your niece's 6-year-old birthday gift? No, it has to be at a business function that you're using those supplies. All right. Is it a tax deduction? A new laptop or tablet? True. You can totally write those off. Now, those items, when you're doing your taxes, your CPA or TurboTax will have you enter in that item, and it will ask, for the cost, how much did you spend on it? In most cases, it's what we call a depreciable item, meaning you'll be able to claim some of it on this tax year, but for the fact that you're going to be using it for several tax years, they'll probably break it up over the course of several tax years that you're claiming said item. Does that make sense? Yes or yes? Basically, in a nutshell, you buy a computer, you buy a tablet, you buy a printer. Yes, keep that receipt. Yes, claim it. But depending on the cost value, it's usually a break point of how much it costs. Would you be able to claim all of it in that first year? Or if they're going to make you break it up over the course of several years. Okay. All right. Is it a tax deduction? Your phone, because this is your most powerful item. This is your most powerful business tool. I like tease. All right. This is what we call a gray area, ladies. If you buy a new phone, yes, you can potentially claim a percentage of it on your taxes as a work device. However, I caution you, this is again another gray area because how much percentage-wise of usage of your phone are you truly using for business? Calling, texting, messaging clients, creating pic collages, and not doing this on TikTok. Okay. So you got to be careful when it comes to your cell phone. Now I'm going to carry on to that. Your cell phone bill, yes or no? Is it a tax deduction? Your bill that you get, you have to pay every month. There you go, T. Same answer. It is to a small amount. Typically, we recommend that you do a percentage anywhere between, 1% of your cell phone bill all the way up to 50%. Nobody ever recommends doing more than 50% claiming of your cell phone bill. Now, again, this is your cell phone. Do not try and claim off your entire family plan. So if you have your cell phone, your husband's cell phone, your kid's cell phone, and it's like this one lump payment of $200 a month, don't take 20% of $200. You got to take 20% of your phone itself. Okay, so make sure you're careful about that because again, the last thing you want is to have those red flags thrown up for the IRS to audit you. We don't want the A word. No A words. Okay. All right. Is it a tax deduction? Your Pure 21 set that you just got because you're going to try the 21-day challenge. Is it a tax deduction? It most certainly is. Remember how we talked about using the products? You actually opening a product to either show to people, or this would actually fall under the bracket of personal usage. Can you write off a second Pure 21 set that you use later on this year after you get home from, Cancun, because you went on that trip? Can you write that off? Not if you're using it for the exact same reason you used it earlier. It's actually no. So for personal usage, know this: anything consumable like Coochie, Body Boost, Body Dew, Pure 21, you can write it off once a year for personal use. If you go through 3 bottles of Body Dew in 1 year, maybe you're gifting it to your husband, and oh, by the way, you just happen to use it, or you're gifting it to your child and you just happen to be using it. All right, but you, under personal usage, you can only claim it once. Okay. All right. Also, the Pure 21 set, that you could also throw that underneath marketing, because especially if you are posting everything of what you're going through on that journey, that is technically a marketing expense. That is a demo. They're not smelling it or tasting it themselves, but that is a demo. So that would fall under your demo items, because that is a different tax deduction of demo items versus items you're just randomly using at home. Okay, keep that in mind. All right, is it a tax deduction? Your guest bedroom where you also have your work desk and inventory storage located. Is it a tax deduction? Your guest bedroom where you also have your work desk and inventory storage located.
Question.
Yeah.
Is there a bed in that bedroom?
Yes, there is, because it's the guest bedroom. Boom. There you go. You ladies know. Anytime that you have a space that has a bed, you no longer can claim it as your home office. I am in my home office right now. There is not a single bed in here. All right. Now, if you are limited in space and you're like, but Dee, I don't have a spare room like you do to use as my home office, but I do have a guest bedroom. Can I use it? This is what I'm going to say. Have you guys ever seen the pull-out couch beds? You seen those before? You get one of those and you put that in your home office, and that's now your guest bedroom bed. Because when you close that sucker up, it's a couch. It's a couch for your home office, for you to do demos on, or for you to have clients sit and you're doing one-on-one with, okay? It's not a bed, but you can still utilize that space for what you're also needing it for. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Do you understand what I'm saying? But if you have an actual bed, I'm sorry, ladies, you cannot. All right. Now, I know you might be like, well, Dee, come on. Is the IRS really gonna know? Do you want to question them? Because they do send out people to your homes. If you actually get audited, they do come out. And what are you gonna do then? Ah, break it down, hide it. Okay. Just set yourself up for success. All right. Is it a tax deduction? The closet in your house that only has Pure Romance products and supplies. Yes. That is actually a line item in your taxes. TurboTax would ask us to. Do you have a space that is for inventory storage? You can also throw business supplies, so like those excess tissue papers and goodie bags and stuff like that. If you have a closet and it doesn't have coats, or your Tupperware or your coolers for your picnics hanging out in it, you literally just have Pure Romance stuff in it, you can actually claim that little space. Okay. So whether it's a 5x5, an 8x2, or whatnot, well, 8x2, that'd be a whole big closet. But anyways, you get what I'm saying. You do have an actual space. All right.
That's my kind of closet.
I know, right? All right. Is it a tax deduction? Your home office space. Your home office space. Yes, your home office is a tax deduction. Now, I get this question very often. Well, Dee, again, I don't have a separate room, but I do have this corner in my living room that it is like my desk. It has my, bookcase and all that. Can I claim that as a home office? No, because you don't have walls up. If you were to get those cubicle walls, though, you know what I'm talking about? Like those little, movable walls that, partition off that you see in office spaces, then yes. If you can actually wall it off, it doesn't have to be floor to ceiling. Okay. It could just be a cubicle space. But if you can wall it off, yes, you can claim it. If you cannot wall it off or cubicle it off, no, you cannot. Okay. Because it is a shared space with said living room and dining room or whatever. Okay. All right. Is it a tax deduction? Your electric bill, gas bill, and water bill because you work from home. Ooh, Elena, I like that. You're like, T's like, no. Tamara's like, maybe. All right. Yes, it is a percentage. Good job, Elena. It is a percentage if and only if you have a home office. Remember how I just said in the last question, if you don't have a home office, no, you cannot claim any of this. But if you have a separated space that is solely pure romance, solely your business, it's not a guest bedroom, it's not a corner of your living room, but you have a dedicated space, you can take a percentage. So what's going to happen on TurboTax or your CPA? Okay, you are going to tell them the size of the space. All right, I cannot remember the size of my office. I measured this years ago, but let's say my office is 8 by 11. Okay, so if my office is 8 by 11 and that is 8% of the livable space of my home, I can write off 8% of all my utility bills. My water bill, even though I don't have a sink in here, I can still write off the water bill. My trash bill, I can write off 8% of it because my home office is taking up 8% of our living space. So 8% of the home utilities, electric. This also includes internet. Okay, TV, no, don't try and write off your cable, your Netflix. All right, can't write that stuff off, but you can write off your Wi-Fi, like your actual internet, your water, your electric, your gas, your trash pickup. Okay, if and only if you have an actual separated home office space. If you do not have that, then sorry, you can't do any of these things. All the more reason for you to be like, honey, I need to have my own office space because it's going to be a bigger tax deduction. Because yes, when you start actually having your own office space, the tax deductions start going up. All right. Is it a tax deduction? The bottle of wine you purchased for your awesome team leader. I like wine. Is it a tax deduction? Oh, I like this. How some of you are like, It is because it was a gift to your team leader. If you buy me a glass of wine at Robinette's, no, you cannot write off that alcohol. So let's say if you're at a team training or you're at national training and you're enjoying a drink here or there, no, you cannot write off alcohol. However, if you give a gift of a bottle of wine, so let's say if your hostess is having a wine and chocolate party, and you give your hostess a gift of a bottle of wine, yes, that is a tax deduction because that falls into that gift category. Remember how I said gifts do not have to necessarily be products? So you gifting your wonderful team leader a bottle of wine, that's a tax deduction. Just FYI, you can't mail that. I found that out the hard way. Can't put wine, you can't mail wine, can't mail booze. It's illegal. I was like, well, that sucks. That's why if you ever were to buy wine online, you have to buy from like their actual like store and they have special licensing. But me Jane Schmo going to the post office with a box that is wrapped up and it has a wine bottle in it. Yeah, no, that's way illegal. So just FYI, you're gonna have to hand deliver my wine gifts. Okay. I was hoping Courtney was going to be on this because I actually referenced her in this, but earrings from Courtney that you purchased during a paparazzi party, since you got to have good bling for your parties and Facebook Live videos. Oh, I did not catch you guys on that. You're correct. Earrings and bling and necklaces, none of that falls under that uniform category because it is not labeled pure romance. If you purchase jewelry though, through Pure Romance. So sometimes at trainings, they have like really special jewelry that you can purchase that has like the Pure Romance logo on it, or it has like the hearts and stuff like that. That, yes, is a tax deduction because that can fall under the uniform or the marketing category. But you just buying bling at a paparazzi party? No. Okay. Follow-up question. Necklaces and bracelets you purchased from Courtney to give us team incentive gifts up for contests. Oh, yeah, that is. So do you guys notice the difference between what was a tax deduction buying bling from Courtney from paparazzi? You can't write it off if you're wearing it yourself, but you can totally write it off if you're giving it as a gift. All right. All right. Is it a tax deduction? Food that you serve at your launch party. Food that you serve at your launch party. That is correct. Think of it as it is a work function. Anytime you purchase food for a work function, that is a tax deduction. All right. So I'm going to throw that out there. How many of you on this call attended our team retreat this year? Okay. Guess what? You had to pay, what was it? $25? $20? That's a tax deduction. Okay. Woo! All right. That's a tax deduction, because that technically went towards helping paying for the cost of the food that was purchased. But the food was at a team function. So whether it's at a party, whether it's at a team function, whether it is a gift like happy birthday to you, to your hostess, that food is a tax write-off. All right. TurboTax software you purchase or your CPA's fees for tax preparation. That's an easy yes. That is completely a tax deduction. They actually have that as a question on TurboTax. All right. New carpet and shelving for your home office space. New carpet and shelving for your home office space. It is. It is actually, if you have a home office, again, I keep going back to that. It's an actually sectioned off area. It has walls or cubicle walls or something like that. If you make any aesthetic improvements, they will ask that, and that you can write off. Now, I'll give you a prime example. Hubby and I actually put flooring down here. I used to have just concrete floors and I had rugs down here. We just did the floors down here in the basement. I can actually claim the percentage of the flooring that I used for my office. I cannot claim the whole cost of all the flooring for the basement, but I can claim the cost, the percentage that it took to cover my home office. Does that make sense? And anytime you buy shelving or bookcases or a desk for your home office, yes, that counts. All right. Is it a tax deduction? Your parking fee at national training or at a bridal show you worked? The parking fee? Yep, totally. That's another separate line item that it will ask on your TurboTax or your CPA is if you had any parking expenses. So your parking at national training or at bridal expos or vendor events, anything like that, yes, it is a tax deduction. Drinks for Chris Ciccanelli when he hangs out with you at national training. False. Again, whether it's an alcoholic drink, you cannot write off drinks. And you just hanging out with Chris Ciccanelli, you can't write it off even if it's a pop. Okay? You're just hanging out. All right. Donations to the Patty Brisbane or Living with Change Foundation. Absolutely. That is a charitable donation. All right. And keep in mind, ladies, you should know that all charitable donations. So you donating to your church, like that actual offering that you put in the church collection cup, that's a tax deduction. You giving clothes and toys to Goodwill, get one of those little receipts because that's a tax deduction. Okay. But specifically for business, absolutely donating to those charities. So if you remember on your online office, when you go to place an online order, it asks, hey, would you like to donate to the Patty Brisman Foundation or round up your order to do that? If you do that, make sure you keep track of it because that is a tax deduction. All right, product raffle or event fees for trainings. So I'll give you an example. The Red Room. Remember how we're having the Red Room party coming up in February? It's $5 to attend, whether you're virtual or virtual or in person. Is that a tax deduction? Yes, it is. That is a training fee, an event fee. All right. That also falls under the same bracket of registration, your registration fee to attend national training or world conference. Now, I also said the product raffle. The product raffle, if you've ever attended our team trainings, we're like, hey, you know, buy 5 tickets for our product raffle. And then at the end, we're like, ticket 1, and you're like, that's me. And you get to run up and you get to grab a product off the table. What you paid, that helped pay for the cost of the room. So yes, that is a tax deduction because that product raffle money is not going into my pockets to just buy all sorts of fun stuff. That actually helps pay for the cost of the room. All right. Postage with sending out orders to clients. Absolutely. Anything that you spend in postage is absolutely a tax deduction. I highly recommend, if you are not already using a discounted postage service like Pirate Ship, I highly recommend you doing that. Just for the fact that it will save you some money. It is also still a tax deduction. So whether you're going to the post office to mail stuff or whether you're doing it from home and paying things like Pirate Ship, yes, that is absolutely a tax deduction. Hello, Jennifer. Glad you could join us, love. We're doing it. It's a tax deduction. So you can just give me a thumbs up, thumbs down, or I don't know when I say, is it a tax deduction? Okay. Bubble mailers and boxes to mail products or hostess packets. Oh, that was an easy one too. Yes. Again, that falls under the bracket of it's a bit, and I should note, ladies, postage is a different line item than business supplies. So the actual supplies to mail your postage stuff, that falls under business supplies, whereas the actual fees from the post office or UPS, that is a different line item on your tax sheet. Ink for your printer. Yes, if you are using said printer for your business. All right. Let's say for whatever reason, your partner also works from home and they have their own printer and they're printing off stuff for whatever, you know, I don't know what they're doing. You can't write off that ink unless they're working their own business. And then of course you can write that off. Okay. Project broadcast subscription. Project broadcast subscription. Yes, absolutely. So if any of you pay for Engage, Project Broadcast, Zoom, all of those are business expenses and you can absolutely write off those fees. All right, this one's an easy one, but I got to throw it in there because we might have some new people or we might have people watching this on the replay that have never filed taxes. Order forms, foil packets, bags, tablecloths, and other items you find in the business supplies category of the online office. Yes, absolutely true. Those are all tax deductions. That is why, ladies, those do not count for retail. So keep that in mind. If you're ever, you know, hitting a low spot in your business and you need to have retail credit in order to, you know, move on to the next month, you cannot purchase something under business supplies and have that count. That it does not give you any kind of retail credit. Elena asked in the chat, does Canva subscriptions count? Absolutely, if you're using Canva for your business, which I am assuming you are. Okay. All right. Is it a tax deduction? Replacing the toy that your client said she never received in the mail and blames porch pirates. Absolutely. There is a separate line item on your taxes for lost or damaged goods. Okay, so that would be lost or damaged goods. Now, I'll give you an example of damaged goods. So you ladies know that if someone contacts you and be like, hey, Jenny, my main attraction is no longer working that I bought from your party. That is what we call a return merchandise. Jenny would get that product from her client. She would send it into corporate. She would fill out a portal request that is basically return merchandise. And then she would get a replacement, yada, 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 yada. But let's say, I'm going to use Jennifer as an example because Jennifer has a pretty large inventory. Let's say Jennifer has in her inventory a toy that we no longer offer. Let's say, what's something that's gone retired? G-Love. G-Love is no longer available for her to order. And she has a client that contacts her, even though she bought it from Jennifer last month. Jen had that in her inventory and she ordered that from Pure Romance back in August. Well, guess what? Jen can't do an RMA on that. She can't send in that G-Love because corporate doesn't even have any G-Loves left to send a replacement. So in that case, you can do one of two things. So for items that you can no longer do return merchandise on, you could do a couple things. One, you could refund her money, which some people do. And if you do refund her money because it's a broken toy, then that refund is a tax deduction that would fall under this broken merchandise. You can get her a similar replacement item. So instead of getting her a new G-Love, because you can't do that, you get her something else that is a G-Spot toy. Okay, that is similar to the G-Love or would do something like that toy would do. So
or similar in price.
Yeah, similar in price too. Okay, so that cost of that replacement toy that you're ordering and sending to her for free, that is a tax deduction. Another thing that a lot of consultants do is, I'm so sorry, I cannot get a replacement for that. However, I will give you 50% off any one toy of your choosing to replace it. Okay, that falls under actually the discounts. Remember how we were talking about earlier that all discounts on products are a tax deduction? That would fall under that discount, but I would kind of lump it in with this conversation because we're talking about return merchandise. Okay, does that make sense? Yes or yes? Okay. Is it a tax deduction? The fee for team social outing events like Wine and Canvas. We have a Wine and Canvas event that we're going to be doing as a team in March. Yes, I think it's in March. Oh, I like how Elena's like, T's like, Jenny's like, yeah. Jennifer's like, yeah. Guess what? Yes, it is. That is a team function. It is a social outing, but it is still a team sanctioned event. Now, again, know the circumstances. If Jennifer was to just randomly be like, hey bitches, I'm having a Wine and Canvas party, and she just happens to have a bunch of us show up because we're her friends and we want to do that, no, that's not a tax deduction. But if she labels it as a team social outing, and especially if her team leader attends, or if the team leader labels it as a team function, then yes, it is. Okay. All right. This is an easy one. Your planner and calendar. Yes or yes? Yeah, it is. I'm just throwing it out there. Yes. Your planner, your calendar, that is totally a tax deduction. Go ahead, T.
With that wine and canvas, is that really something we could deduct because wine's involved?
It is, because it is lumped into the fee of the actual event. Because someone that attends the event but doesn't drink any of the wine because maybe they want to go to the event but they're pregnant, they still have to pay that fee. So it is actually the event fee. It just happens to be that there happens to be wine there. Okay. You're not paying for drinks. You're paying for the event itself. Notice the difference? So that's why buying Chris Chiccanelli drinks is not falling under the same of attending a Wine and Canvas team event. You see what I'm saying? There's drinking involved in both scenarios, but one is a tax deduction and one is not. All right. Your ring light. So you have plenty of light during your videos. Absolutely. That is a business expense. All right. Remember, that goes back to business expenses. Now, I should clarify though, a ring light providing adequate light, or maybe if you got a lamp specific that is in your home office. Okay. But I don't know if I can pull this over for you guys to see this. This is my happy light. All right. I have a happy lamp because D gets all sad in the wintertime because I don't get enough vitamin D. No, I cannot write that off. Okay. Yes, that would give me fabulous light actually here. Oh, gives a really good light, but that is not the function of said light source. Okay. A ring light actually provides you light for your videos. Happy light keeps D from being moody in the wintertime. All right. Name tag, car decals from JT Productions. Yes, if you did not know, you can order both of those under order business supply partners. So JT Productions is the company that we partner up with. You can get, you know, car labels. I know a couple of you ladies on the team have car decals. You can totally write those off. Go ahead, Jennifer.
Just while I'm thinking about it, I don't know if this is part of your thing or not, but decorating your office, like if you paint your office or put new flooring in or anything like that, that is also a deduction.
Yep, we actually covered that a little bit earlier. I don't know if you were obviously, if you brought that up, if you probably missed that part, but yes, that counts as it's the line item that counts underneath updates, physical aesthetics,
Yes.
aesthetic updates. But again, it only counts for a physical home office, not your corner in your living room or anything like that. It has to actually be an actual office space. All right, the photographer fee to get professional photos. Absolutely. I'm thinking about doing that as a team event coming up, is that we get a photographer and everybody pays like $25 and they take those professional photos, and I use those all the time. I use them for my business cards. I use them for like thank you, like texts. I have them as, you know, my little splash page on my my VIP group. You can use those for all sorts of different marketing. Follow-up question: photographer fee for boudoir shoots. Ooh, I like how some. No, yeah.
It depends.
What does it depend on?
Are you wearing pure romance lingerie
Yes.
and using it for marketing? Then yes.
Yes.
If you're not, then no.
Exactly. Thank you, Jen. So I'm just going to reemphasize it because we've said this many, many times. It all depends on context. All right. So the context of the situation. If you're using pure romance lingerie and you are going to be using said photos for marketing purposes, then yes, you absolutely can write off the fee for the photographer, the fee for the makeup artist to make you look fabulous, the hairstylist, the space that you have to rent, all of that you can write off because it's going to the marketing expense of you using said photos to sell those products. But you just getting, how you doing, for your partner as their birthday gift, and especially they're not pure romance lingerie, no, you cannot. All right. Dymo label printer and label stickers. Absolutely. That's what I was referring to. If you do your mailing from home instead of like taking your packages to the post office like I did for years and having them weigh it and then decide how much it costs. If you do all that at home and prepay your postage, and not only do you get a discount, but then all those supplies to print said labels, those are all business supplies. Okay. New desk for your business for you to use at night and your kids' virtual learning during the day. No, Jen, I like how you're like, yes. And then you're like, no, you can't write it off because you're double dipping. Remember how I said for clothes, you cannot write off a really nice shirt or really nice pants or really nice dress that you bought specifically to wear to trainings. You can't write those off because you can be using them for other functions like weddings, funerals, family get-togethers. The same thing. Furniture that you buy for your home that you're using for not just business, you cannot write it off. Sorry, ladies. Airfare tickets to World Conference. Yes, that's a business trip, ladies. That's a line item for any time that you have any kind of travel for business. Pretty much everything that involves your travel other than your drinks on said flight, you can have a tax deduction. luggage fees on the free trip you won from Pure Romance. So you're on a free trip from Pure Romance, but you're paying luggage fees. Still tax deduction because it's still a business trip. Yes, the trip itself is free, but you had to pay your luggage fees. Credit card processing fees from Square or PayPal. Absolutely. If you are using either one, you should have already gotten a little email from them, or you can log into your account and you can see how much did they charge you all of last year. So that will actually be a line item for you to put in on your TurboTax or on your CPA's file, okay? Your home mortgage interest rates since you work from home. I like that. A little bit, little bit. All right. Yes, a little bit. If, what's the if?
If you have a dedicated home office space.
Yes. Remember how I said earlier, ladies, that if you do have a dedicated office space, you get more and more tax deductions. That's where this comes in. Yes, you can actually write off your mortgage. And like I said, 8% of my office takes up 8% of my livable home space. So I can write off 8% of that mortgage interest because of my home office. Okay. So if you are like hearing all these things and now you're like, well, damn, I need a goal to actually have a dedicated office space. This is why this is good to hear this stuff, because you're hearing all these reasons why having that dedicated space is going to financially help you. Okay. Bags to carry your inventory or demo items that do not say Pure Romance on them. Ooh, this is a tricky one. Bags that you carry for inventory and demo that do not say Pure Romance on them. It is a tax deduction for the fact that their sole duty, I said duty, their sole duty is business related. Now, can you write off your 31 tote that you use for parties, but then you also take it to carry your beach bags and towels and all that? No. Okay. So just because it doesn't say Pure Romance or the logo on it does not mean you can't write it off. Heck, I got a lot of my bags from 31, as many of you know. Okay. But their sole function has to be business oriented for you to count them. And you can only claim them the one time. You can't claim them year after year after year. You bought them that 1 year, even though they last for like 10, you can't claim them every single year. Okay. The expo booth fee when you're working a vendor event. Abso-freaking-lutely. And I'm going to add on to that anything that you give away. So for instance, the bridal expo that I just did, they have 2 winners for the door prize that they were giving away. I am going to be doing those door prize giveaways, and those products or discounts, whatever they happen to be, is going to be a tax deduction. Okay. All right. So that goes through. We had 50 plus, is it a tax deduction questions? So before I go further with more stuff, I want to have open Q&A for a little bit. Go for it, Jen.
I know I was late, so you may have already covered this, but did you cover the personal use products?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And that every product that you use for personal use is a write-off?
Yep.
Not just like if you use 6 bottles of Coochie over the year, every single one of those bottles is a write-off. According to Pure Tax, which is Pure Romance's thing, it is.
Well, it is, but it's a gray area. I don't recommend it. I don't recommend it for the fact that that can look very, very fishy. However, you could be like, I gifted it to my sister. I gifted it to my daughter, and they just happen to use it, and I just happen to use it. Okay. So I train ladies saying that you use 1 bottle to claim because it's for personal usage. You could claim another bottle for marketing reasons, another bottle for demo usage, but I would be careful about claiming 6 bottles of Coochie for personal usage in 1 year. That's just, again, because I want to keep anybody from having any kind of red flags. Okay.
Well, it just asked for, because I called them and verified because I wasn't sure. So I paid for Pure Tax last year and I called them and verified, like, are you 100% sure? Like, it's not just the first bottle I use. If I use more than one, I get to write off every one.
And they said
And
yes.
they said yes.
Okay. Well, then
They said
that's
it's
news to me
personal
because
use of the
I was
product.
always trained that it's only the first one.
Well, they said because it accounts for the fact that it's no longer in your inventory and you didn't sell it.
Well, yeah, but that goes for anything as far as a gift or a demo.
Right. So it all lumps in together. But yeah, that I called and verified and I talked to a couple different people because I wanted to make sure. So I called again and asked the same question, which to a different person, and I got the same answer.
Okay. Well, I will correct myself, ladies. Go ahead and you can take back on the notes when we were talking about personal usage. You can say that you can write off all of those. Again, just, you know, if you wanted to lump it all in personal usage, you can. If you want to have it where like one is personal usage and the rest are gifts, then so be it. Okay. Elena's had a hand up. Oh, okay. All right. Go ahead, Jenny. Yeah, this is open Q&A, ladies. So this, before I go into, I have just one other little bit I wanted to show you, but after that, you know, before that, I want to go through Q&A. Go ahead, Jenny.
Okay, now I know you're not the most organized person, but how do you keep this stuff organized? Like how do you start this out? I mean, clearly you
Glad
pay
you
stuff out at the
asked
first
that.
of the year and then just start putting stuff in folders.
Yep. So here, hold on. Let me screen share because I do have a way that I keep it organized.
Can I tell them how I do it?
Sure, you can tell them.
I keep all of my receipts in a folder that I found at Dollar General. It's $3.50. It has a page. It's called Home Finance and Bill Organizer. It has a page for each month of the year, and each of those pages has a pocket. So you can put all of your receipts in each month. And then at the end of the year, because I suck at keeping track all year, I go through and I look at my receipts and stuff, and I write down business supplies total this much, shipping total this much, received shipping total this much, and write it all in the spot where you can write your bills that it's intended for.
So Jenny, the first part of your question is how do you keep stuff organized? So keeping receipts, like actual receipts of, you know, you paid for national training or you paid for this, you know, going out to eat, you know, because you went to a team function and there was food involved. Physical receipts, you keep organized however you want to. So Jennifer gave her suggestion. If you wanted to put them all in one box and just go through each one and then put them in, you know, order based on day and month, you can do that. Physical receipts you have to keep. Okay. All order forms. Here, hold on, let me get order form. So anytime you actually have an order form that you have filled out, if you are not putting it on the online office as a digital copy, you have to keep all documentation of order forms for 7 years. You have to keep all receipts or digital copies of the receipts for 7 years. Okay. I've been in business now going on 11 years. I can start shredding some stuff. I can start purging some stuff from my first couple of years of business. And it's almost like a woo! Okay. So the actual physical paper stuff, you either have to have the paper or you have to have a digital. That's why sometimes people that don't like paper everywhere, they do actually have receipt scanners where you can scan a receipt and then it will automatically put it into a folder on your computer. And then that way you can access that. And then there's programs out there that you scan a receipt and then it puts it in a folder. And then I think sometimes those programs will also add up, you know, how much those receipts are. So that way you don't have to go through and add them all up. Okay.
I also use what Dee is showing you now.
Yes. So this is what I have this on the team page. If you go to Radiant Rockstars team page and you go to files, this is under the files. It is called PR. It's 20. Let's see. This one is listed as 2021 PR money sign bookkeeping. Okay. It might be just a wee bit out of date if it has some older items that were retired, but keep in mind something like this right here, Afterglow, someone might still have that in their inventory. Okay. So it's still there because that was an item in 2021. Now, if you don't have Afterglow in your inventory, then you can just delete that. So this is an Excel document. You are going to have to be a little knowledgeable of how to work an Excel document. But basically down here, everybody can see the screen, right? Thumbs up, you can see the screen I'm pointing to. Okay, I just want to make sure that my screen sharing was working. There are different tabs at the bottom that I've created for you. So there's a mileage tab. So literally what you can see is I have the date, the notes of what it was, and miles traveled. You notice D got really lazy and I did not fill in dates and reasons. I just started filling in the numbers. That's because I have the hard copy and I'm just keeping the hard copy and I didn't feel like transferring all the actual things. But then down here, oh yeah, randomly, team retreat. All right, because driving to the team retreat, that was a tax write-off because of the mileage. So this is why I say always, ladies, you need to document what your starting odometer reading is and your ending odometer reading is every single year, because you put in your beginning odometer, your ending odometer. Then you put in, these are all the business miles that I travel. So this is going to the post office, going to trainings, going to parties, stuff like that. So my total business mileage was this much. So by knowing my beginning and ending odometer readings, I know how much I have totally traveled, and that I can separate out from the business to then tell me how much personal, because your CPA or TurboTax will ask you these things. It will ask you, what was your beginning, your ending, what was your business travels? Okay. You cannot write off personal traveling, but you can write off the business, but you still need to know the beginning and ending. So I have a mileage category. Year-end inventory. This is the other thing that I really emphasize to you guys, why you want to make sure that you know at the end of the year what products you still have in your inventory, because what you're going to do is you're going to total it up. Now down here, okay, so this is an example. If someone had just in their ending inventory, they had 1 Afterglow, 2 Basic Instinct, and 3 Blooms and Noir Body Dew. Okay, so I just filled in a couple of them to show the examples because I've already built in the math here. And I did built in the math for a 40% discount, because to be perfectly honest, everybody is at a different discount, but most people on the team are at a general 40% off. Now, obviously, this is a calculator, or sorry, this is a formula, so you can change the formula based on your own discount. Okay, so that's where this formula right here, I did it times the 40%. Anyways, down here, this is the number that your CPA or TurboTax is going to want to know. What is the wholesale cost? So this number here is the total value, okay, like what it's valued in the catalog worth versus the actual cost. Your CPA will want to know this. So in truth, does your CPA care how many bottles of Love Story Coochie you have versus Pink Prosecco Coochie? No, they don't care. They want the end number. Now, do you, as a business owner, do you want to know how many bottles of this and how many fragrances of this do you have at the end of the year? Yes, that's actually really valuable information, because then you can see, is there something that I'm just not moving? Is there something that I had a surplus of at the end of the year versus, you know, through the beginning of the year, I sold through all that? It's valuable information for you as a business owner to have all this catalog down. But at the end of the day, tax man, they're only going to care about this line item here, the totals. Okay. Home office expenses. This goes to like if you have a home office. So again, electric, gas, water, sewer, trash pickup. Basically, I can put in there what my bills were, and then I take those totals, and then you would multiply that based on your size of your home office. So again, if I have 8%, I would put in these total figures, and I would put that in TurboTax, and then TurboTax would be like, okay, we'll take 8% of that. Okay, so your CPA or TurboTax will actually do that math for you, but you need to provide how much your bills were on that. Down here, business tax write-offs. This is a big one. Okay, so this is a big document. You'll see it here. What I have done for you is I have color coded it. This is how you guys think I'm unorganized. I am unorganized to a certain extent, but when I get focused on a project and I'm like, I get really focused. I color coded this based on the different categories. It will ask you if you are using TurboTax or your CPA. So for instance, there is an advertising line item. How much did you spend for your business for advertising? So that boils it down. How much did you spend in business cards? How much did you pay for the media center? Because remember, the media center is free for you guys for the first 3 months you activate it, but after that, you have to pay for it. Okay. Web advertising, that would be if you pay for your own website. So for instance, there are some consultants that actually pay to have a separate team website that they do stuff with their team, they do stuff with their clients, they do their flash sales on a totally different website. Okay, that would be under that. Anybody that does what is that, contact sold would fall under this category because you're paying for that website. Okay, brochures, flyers, that's whether you're buying them on the online office or whether you're making your own or whatnot. Foil package products, and you guys see it's broken down. I kind of broke it down for you, all these different things. Now obviously there's different things that might pop up. Okay, so advertising, technically if you bought a car decal, you could actually put that as, honestly, you could probably just put that under its own line item. You can just insert, boom, and then you could put on there other advertising. And then that way you could put your car decal of $25. Okay. That would fall under the advertising category. Business travel expenses. This would be your luggage. This would be your airfare. This would be hotel. Okay. Your actual hotel fees. It basically, they lump it into, they just care about the total number. They don't care how much you spend in hotel versus airfare. They just want to know the total amount you spent. Communication. So how much did that percentage of your cell phone versus your internet? Jen, let me get through this real quick and then I'll answer questions. Okay. Meals. This will ask you separately. Meals with clients versus meals while traveling. Okay. So meals with clients are like, you decided to meet up with one of your gals that's thinking about being a procurement consultant. You meet up with her at Panera and you buy her coffee. Buying her coffee, that falls under that thing. And then meals with traveling, that again goes with traveling. That is separate than business travel expenses. So I take that back. They do like having meals separated out versus your airfare and your luggage. Business supplies. So this is the one that lumps a lot. So this is actually where you're probably going to have one of your biggest totals. Okay. Because business supplies basically covers everything you can possibly think of. Okay. This could count for your pens, your folders, invitations, order forms, bags, foil, stuff like that. That can be counted as business supplies. Now, if you counted your foil packets over here under advertising, don't put them again underneath here. If you put them under business supplies, that's fine. You have them somewhere. You can use them as a business supply or you can use them for advertising your business. Just don't claim them twice. Obviously, PO box fees, we talked about that. Postage, software, we talked about that with TurboTax. If you use QuickBooks, things like that. Gifts, remember we talked about gifts. So gifts can be, you gifted a mani-pedi for a team member that won that incentive. That could be a product item. That could be whatever. Copies is, they'll actually ask that on TurboTax, like, do you have any copy fees? I literally went to Staples to make copies of these wish lists that I'm doing because I don't have actual catalogs anymore. Remember how we talked about uniforms? So that is like that PR swag. Credit card processing, that is a total separate line item that basically, because these are not lumped over. Notice how these ones are not lumped under some bigger category. That's because on TurboTax, they ask it separately. They ask, is there any uniforms? Is there any credit card processing? Is there any vehicle expenses? They're not lumped under a category of business supplies or marketing or, stuff like that. Okay. Same thing with your charitable donations. That is totally separate. Anybody have any questions about this document that I'm showing you at the moment? Should probably scroll through to see if I see any hands. Oh, where'd Jen go? Oh, was she raising her hand because she had to leave? Hopefully she'll be able to jump back on.
Where did you say this was again? I know you said Radiant Rockstar team page. And you
Go to
said
the Radiant
files.
Rockstar team page, then you go to files. So you know how, like, if you're on, especially on your desktop, you can go to the files. The name of the file is 2021 PR $ bookkeeping. It's probably a little ways down, but go with this version because I think I do have another version up there that's way further down. I'll delete it out, but that's like a really older version. Go ahead, T. I see your hand.
I think I might have the older version because everything I had was under a 50% discount. So just make sure you're watching when you're putting everything in on that, make sure you're watching that it is for whatever discounted price you're at.
Yep. All right. So then you'll notice again, I'm navigating through different tabs. So there's a lot of different tabs underneath here. Tabs here, demo products. All right. This is a line item on your TurboTax of how much did you spend in demo products. So this would be a good way for you to keep track. So, you know, hidden agenda, massage oil with Hello Libido, OMG. Again, you have the retail value. And then this one, notice, actually, T, you brought up a good point. You guys see here, it says wholesale cost, 50% discount. All right. So make sure that you go over here to the retail value, to that's a formula. So you just click on the very first and you click here, take that down to 40%. Okay. And then all you have to do, this is a little Excel 101. Now it's changed that value. Now, if you hover, you see how it has that little crosshairs and then you drag it down. It will now change that to 40%. So that is your cost. All right. And then you just keep drag it down. And now look at the total, how it is right now. And now how it adjusted. Okay. So the cost of someone at a 40% is obviously higher than someone at a 50%. So just make sure that you're looking to see what the percentage is and adjust it accordingly. So that might have been an oopsie on me that I forgot to change that to a 40% because over here I have it as 40% for product prize giveaways. So again, this is just a way for you to keep track of those things because these things you don't have receipts for. So Jenny, you were saying, how do I keep track of everything? Well, this is a way to keep track of those gifts. So T, you mailing out that, what was it, a heart massager to your friend that lives up in Alaska? Boom, that is where you would put it here. So product prize giveaways, free product given to team members, etc., and all that. You would put the date. What was it? There is no cent, so you just leave that blank. Retail value, and then the wholesale cost, 40%. Okay. So then at the bottom, it will give you that total. And if you come across where you're putting in a lot, then you just do this, ladies. If you need to put in more, you just highlight the row and then insert, and then boom, now you have another row. Okay. All right. But all this is for you to navigate. The other thing that I wanted to show you here is the business stats. Okay. The business stats from corporate. This, I am going to show you where to find these because you'll see shipping and handling paid, taxes paid, business supplies paid. Okay, so a lot of this you can find in the report section. So let me, all right, hold on. How do I, no, okay, stop share. Okay, so hold on, because I have to stop sharing and then I have to open up a new window for me to share the next one. So then, all right. All right, is everybody seeing the online office? Okay, you're gonna go to reports, view reports. You're gonna come over here to purchase details. Click on that. All right. Sometimes it will default to the previous year. If it doesn't, this is the drop-down menu. So if you needed to go to a specific year, this is the drop-down menu, but I believe it just defaults to the previous year. So this is 2021. All right. So you can actually see as a breakdown, my personal sales, this is my net cost. Okay. So I had 97,802 in personal retail sales. That is stuff that I purchased from the online office. This does not include web orders. I want to emphasize that web orders are a different line item because I actually had over 100,000 in sales last year. So that kind of shows you what little of web sales I did last year. Last year was my transition year where I was really ramping up more of my web sales. So I do a lot more of me through ordering through the online office. But anyways, it gives you your net cost. So that is what we call cost of goods. So TurboTax or your CPA is going to ask, what was your cost of goods on your retail sales? Because they're going to want to know, how much did you do in total retail sales? All right. So Jenny Green, I'm just going to pick on you for a second. Do you happen to know what your retail sales total was for 2021 off the top of your head? No? Okay. Let's just imagine it was $1,000. We'll make it an easy number. Okay. $1,000 total retail sales that you have on file from corporate. Well, that is value of the products. Coochie doesn't come out of nowhere. There is a cost of making coochie. Think of the same thing like someone selling furniture. Furniture doesn't pop out of nowhere and they just sell it and it has zero cost. They actually, the lumber to build it, the nails to, do it, that's the cost of the actual item. So we have a cost. Your cost is your buying discount. So for me, if I had $1,000 retail, my cost is 50%. So my cost of goods is $500. So on that line item, your CPA or TurboTax is going to be like, what's your cost of goods? That's what this is. Now, do you notice how right here, it doesn't look a straight 50% off? Well, that's because I take advantage of sale days. That's because I take advantage of like, hey, partners, you can order on this day and you get a 55 discount. Okay. So technically your number is not going to probably be a straight 40%. That's why it's important to use these numbers from corporate, because this does factor in you shopping on good sale days or you taking advantage of, you got certain things for free and stuff like that. So this is a more accurate count. Okay. So you can see how like my average is actually 52% buying discount. I think, what was it? March was straight up just 50%. Other times it was like 56%, things like that. Okay. This shipping. This is how much I got charged in shipping rates. $3,469 last year. That's a lot of money. But that is why it's important for you ladies to charge the $8 handling fee on every single order. If I didn't charge that $8 handling fee on every single order, I am now out $3,469. Now, I say that, but technically, if I didn't charge a single handling fee on any of my orders, I could write off that entire amount. This is the part where it gets a little tricky, where you need to be good about keeping track of stuff, or you need to put everything in this online office so that way you can see how much you charged. Whatever you paid to corporate in handling fees, if that is more than what you collected in handling fees from your clients, the difference between those two is a tax deduction. Do you understand what I'm saying? So the difference between what you paid versus what you charged, if it's more you paid, then that is a tax deduction. If you collected more than what you paid, that's not a tax deduction. That's actually you making a profit, which yay for you. Okay. Same thing goes for sales tax, because you cannot charge sales tax on clients that live in a sales tax free state. I can't remember what states that are, but I know there's one over in the East Coast because I have a client that lives on the East Coast. I want to say it's like Connecticut or something like that. They have zero sales tax. You cannot charge them sales tax. I don't care that you had to pay sales tax on the products. You cannot charge them. So at the end of the year, again, if you have a difference in what you paid in sales tax to corporate on the products versus what you charged, the difference is a tax deduction. Another factor in, let's say if you do a flash sale, you can't charge sales tax on full retail. You have to charge sales tax on discounted prices. So even though I got a coochie, I got it and paid tax on $24, or technically I paid tax on my discounted amount. Okay, because corporate can't charge us tax on the full amount. They charge us on our discounted amount. But then I discount that even further. I can't charge her that sales tax, even though I got charged more sales tax than what I'm charging her for that same bottle of coochie. Okay, so just keep that in mind. So this is actually a really great report for you to look, and notice here, PBF down. Wow, that makes me look like a big douche. Sorry, I didn't donate to the PBF last year through my orders. I just never hit yes on that. But if I did, it would have total here. Business supplies. So this is where anything that you order on the online office, those order forms, those catalogs, those foil packets, technically, you don't have to keep the receipts of all those and put that on that big Excel document. You could just put the total amount, because anything that you order under business supplies would fall underneath here. Okay. All right. All right, downline earnings. So this is going to apply more for you ladies that have a team. If you have a team, that is taxable income. You are going to have to claim that income that you make from your override check. So if you made a $100 override check because you have a team of a couple of ladies, that is a taxable income. So this actually gives you the basic line. This is the 1099. So for me personally, I will actually get 2 forms from corporate. Some of you will only get 1. Some of you might get 2. You would get 2 forms from corporate if you did over 600 in sales on your website alone, or you did over 5,000 in online or online office orders. So keep in mind, those of you that aren't ordering that much on the online office, but you're pushing your website, like shop on my website, shop on my website. If you have over $600 on your web orders, you will get a form from corporate, and you have to file taxes claiming your business. Okay. So that's something that I sometimes forget to mention, because we always emphasize that if you have $5,000 retail, you have to claim it. Technically, you have to claim it if you have $600 retail and it's all on your web orders. Okay. You will also get a 1099 form if you have a downline, like you got those override checks, if you got lifestyle bonuses, if you got a free trip, technically a free trip from corporate, they're going to tax you on that. So you have to pay the taxes on it because that is a gift, but they can tax you on that. Go ahead, T.
Do they send out those forms, or is there a way we can print them?
They will send them out. So they will
Okay.
send them out, and just like your regular day job and all your other tax documents, they have until the end of January to prep those forms, and then the beginning of February, they legally have to start mailing those out. Some companies get them out sooner based on how fast their HR department works it, but all businesses have to get out those forms printed and mailed to you by that time. Can you get this electronically? That's a good question. I've never honestly gotten my taxes done fast enough for me to get it done prior to them mailing it out to me, because I'm usually getting my taxes done in the month of February. Okay. I always recommend, ladies, don't wait till April. Please, please don't wait till April. You'll be giving yourself such a headache. Okay. All right. Another report. We're going to go back to reports, view reports. Another report that you're going to want to take a look at is down here where it says parties reporting. If you put stuff in the online office, which you should, this is where you're going to want to go to see where you collected stuff. Okay. Now I apologize. D is backlogged and I don't have everything, everything logged in. So you're going to see like half effort in here. So you're going to go here to party profit. Now it says right here, this report is not intended for and should not be used for tax reporting purposes. They say that because it is not a legal form. Okay. It could have mistakes on it. So you need to make sure that you are keeping track of stuff and just making sure that there aren't any errors. If you see errors, then you want to make sure you submit a portal request. But basically, they're just saying this is not a formal tax form. Okay, because if it was, they are legally bound to the numbers that is represented. So I'm not going to do this year. I'm going to do the previous year. All right. X out of that. And so if you look at this, now keep in mind, I have not cataloged all my parties. I have a backlog and put some of my parties still in. But this report will show you how many parties I had technically on file, how many orders. This again is the retail total. What you're going to be looking for, if you scroll down, there's actually this slide bar. This slide bar is where you're going to want to be sliding over, because this is the part I hate, because you have to like scroll up, scroll down, scroll up, scroll down. All right, party line discounts. Okay. If you notice, there is, hold on, let me see if I can get a total. This is the grand total. So this is your grand total. So this is like discounts that I gave at parties. Again, that's not my true number because I haven't put everything in, but right now the computer says I gave $459 in discounts. Okay. That's like 10% off Coochie, $5 off that lingerie. Consultant cost of goods, we already talked about that on that previous report. Sorry, I'm just scrolling back and forth trying to find the line items that I want to show you. Order discounts, hostess credits. Now the hostess credits I've been noticing are a little funky, so that you want to make sure that is actually showing true numbers. But order discounts, that is like someone got a discount on their whole order, like 25% off their whole order, or they got different discounts. So this technically is a separate number than that $400 one that I gave you. Okay. Then, sorry, this is the one thing that I'm like, scroll up, scroll down, scroll up, scroll down. All right, you see here, it's showing total cash payments, total check payments, total credit card, debit card. It basically tells you if you're putting stuff in the online office, how did people pay you? So you have these reports as well. So this information is on your online office if you are utilizing the online office. If you are not utilizing the online office, you will have to do what I did for several years and literally go back through order forms and total up. How much did I charge in shipping? How much did I do in discounts? Okay. I had to do this for several years, ladies, so it can be done. So if you did not put stuff in the online office, that's fine. You just have to go back to your paper receipts and total up all your discounts, total up all your gifts, total up how much did you pay, or how much did they pay you in shipping? How much did they pay you in sales tax? Okay. Now that you've seen the reports, now that you've seen the Excel document, now that we have gone through the game, does anybody that is still on the call have any questions about stuff that we have covered regarding taxes 101 for your business? No? All right. I will also tell you this, ladies. When you get to the level of your business where maybe you are full-time like me, maybe you have a really good growing team, you will need to start thinking about paying quarterly payments to the IRS. Okay. You guys don't have to worry about that. Right now, I can pretty much take a gander that all of you are going to technically show in the red, meaning that you did not make money with your business this last year. Now, we know that's not technically true because we know you use your money to pay some of your bills, or, you know, pay for your kids' ballerina classes, or to, you know, buy some new clothing for yourself. You obviously made money because you were able to spend it, save it, whatever. But in the eyes of the IRS, because of tax deduction here, tax deduction there, tax deduction here, basically whatever you made as profit, okay, you start off here of what you made money-wise. Tax deduction, ding, tax deduction, ding, tax deduction, ding. So every tax deduction basically brings that profit level down, and that's why it ends up you showing in the red, but showing in the red means you get a refund from the IRS. It is very typical for a direct sales person like Pure Romance Consultants to show themselves in the red for their first 4, if not 5 years of business. After 4 or 5 years, you should not be having so much in the red. You should be making enough as far as your business sales and growing your own team and making an override on your team that you might not be in the red so much, but you're still making a refund. When you get to the level of business I'm at, I actually have to pay. So I actually pay to the IRS 4 times a year. I picked an amount that I pay to the state of Michigan and to the federal IRS. And I do that so that way at the end of the tax year, I'm not hit with the bill from the IRS, be like, hey, guess what? You owe us $5,000. Okay. So I pay in, but by doing that, technically I'm front loading. It's like, yep, I got all these tax deductions, but I'm also front loading. I'm paying the IRS just like you guys pay on your pay stubs at your day job. You know how like you literally pay on your pay stubs. That's why you get a refund, because you're front loading paying the IRS, and then you get some of that back. So that's what I'm doing too. So just keep that in mind, is that as you're working your business, is that something for you to consider, that when you get to that point, you're going to want to start like sanctioning off a small percentage of your profits in order to pay those quarterly payments. Okay. All right. Any other questions that you ladies can think of? No? All right. Well, I want to thank you so much for tuning into tonight's training. I really appreciate you ladies staying a student and, working your businesses and being mindful of all these tax nuances. But again, I'm going to end this training with just a little bit of advice. I've been working my business now for 11 years. I paid someone to do my taxes for at least the first 5 years. As much as I like to help my ladies as far as this is a tax deduction, this is a tax deduction, your situations are different. Elena, your situation is completely different than Jenny's versus T's, okay? Everybody's is different, and I can't guide you with that. I can't help you with that. So that is why I say it is worth to pay someone for at least your first couple of years, because you can learn from them too, based on your living expenses. Because I know I have 3 little tax deductions upstairs. Okay. I can claim those kids. Okay. I can claim other things. My husband and I do have stocks. Okay. So that plays in a role, but we also prepay for our girls' college tuition. Okay. So there's different things that we are doing that are tax deductions that has nothing to do with Pure Romance. But I learned those things that I feel confident filling out TurboTax. And TurboTax is a very good software. It literally does ask a question. Do you have this? Yes or no? Yes. Okay. Go to this screen and fill this information out. So there are times where like I'll be going through and it'll ask me a question. I'm like, oh shoot, I gotta call my Lake Michigan credit union to see how much I paid in my mortgage interest payments, because I totally forgot to get that info, So it's really good that it guides you through, but I do recommend paying someone for at least your first couple of years to get all the nuances, all the things. And then once you feel confident from there, then maybe go and do your own taxes. T, you unmuted yourself, so I'm assuming you have a question.
What is approximately the price of somebody doing the taxes? Because I usually do TurboTax myself, but with this being a business and my first year actually having to claim, I don't know if it's really like, 'cause I know it's $175 for the pure tax stuff, but I was told that's pretty much just tax prep, that you still need to give that information to a tax person.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I
So
guess
Unfortunately, I can't give you a accurate number because every CPA charges different rates, and the rate is based on basically how difficult your return is. So if you had okay, I'll give you an example. My sister-in-law, she is a nurse at U of M hospital. She has no children. She does have her own house that, she has bought. She doesn't rent and all that. But that's about it. She has a very simple return. She has her W-2 from the hospital, and she has her, house that she can claim off the taxes, even though she doesn't have a business. You can, that's a Michigan kind of thing, FYI. But anyways, she has a very simple return. Her return, if she was to pay someone, might cost her like $50, maybe $100. Once you start adding in things, whether it's children, ding, 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 you have stocks, ding, 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 you have a rental property, ding, 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 you have a business, ding, ding, ding. I mean, all these extra things that the CPA has to deal with, that's going to increase the cost. Okay. So to give you an example, when I first started paying someone, he was a very, very good CPA. He had been in business for many years, so he might have actually had a little bit more expensive rates than someone else that might be slightly newer. His fees were $250 for our first return. And then I went with someone else and theirs was $300. The most I have ever paid, I think, was the $300. So that's the most I have ever paid for someone, but I have known other partners to pay $500 for someone to do their taxes. But again, it's based on how difficult your return is. Okay. So, and as far as referrals, you can easily put up a post and be like, who has a person that, they love and trust who's taking on new people? I highly recommend, again, not knocking them. I wouldn't recommend going to a big box company like H&R Block to do yours, because a lot of times those big box company tax preparators, they have interns to do your taxes. That's why they have such cheaper rates than someone that is an actual CPA and it's just them, versus having H&R Block, because they're paying interns to do your file. Would I trust an intern to do my taxes? No, because we did that 1 year before I even had my pure romance business, and they effed it up. And I had to, refile the following year. I got money back the following year because I screwed it up the previous year. So with you guys having businesses, I would go with someone that is familiar with small business owners. Make that the priority. Hey, have you ever worked with a small business owner? Yes, I have. Okay. If the answer is no, then run away screaming. All right. Any other questions? No? All right. Well, thank you again so much, ladies, for tuning in. I will make sure to put up the replay of this so that way if you are needing to watch the replay, you can. Or if you have team members that you want to tag them in it, I highly recommend they watch it. Pretty much the content that we went over is good for the most part from here on out in future years. If you're watching this in 2023, 2024, however, my other disclaimer is tax law changes on a yearly basis. So what we can deduct now technically could change and not be a tax deduction 2 years from now. Okay. So what I say now is a tax deduction is what I know it is for this last tax year. Okay. All right. Thank you again so much, ladies, for having a great training with me. I hope you learned a lot. Have a great night.